Hey everyone, I'm going to share a little bit about my testimony in relation to the theme at church that we've had for a while now about the soil. This is take 22, so I just want to say thank you to everyone at church who's been on video. It's so difficult to talk to a camera, but let's go, let's do this. So I was reading Luke 8 verse 4 to 21, the parable of the soil. There's 4 different types of soil and kind of people, really. We can liken them to people. So there's the path, the rock, the thorns and the good ground. And one of the questions in my Bible study on this day was asking about, have you seen all of these soils in action? Have you felt any of these? And I realised that I had felt a lot of them, especially the thorns. So the thorny ground, soil, are people that hear and believe the word but don't apply it or stand on it. They allow worries and desires to overtake, and there's no lasting fruit from that. And I've definitely been in a place where I've felt overwhelmed by the thorns of life. I think we're in quite a thorny time at the minute for a lot of people, where I wasn't getting what I wanted, basically, and I didn't trust God enough to let him take control, and I wanted control, and I felt overwhelmed with worry and the desires that I had that I wanted to get out of life. That was a while ago, and when I was rereading this, I really felt like God was saying that, and showing me through my life, that it's possible to change your soil. And I'd never thought that before. I always thought, when I used to read this beforehand, when I was in church and I heard it, I used to just think, oh, I hope I'm not the thorny soil. I hope I'm not the rocky ground. I hope I'm the good soil. And God was just showing me, especially through my life, that it's possible to change. And I've got a little picture, if you like, because I do quite like plants these days. Brought one in this picture just to cheer you up if you need a bit of green. So I want to illustrate that we're not born with good soil. We're not born with thorny soil. It's not by chance that we end up with good soil. It's cultivated, so we need to be intentional. And I felt like God had put me in a place where I knew that if I was intentional, well, I hoped I could change it. And now looking back, I can see that God really helped me to do that. So the illustration is, if we have a plant that we bring home and it gets bigger, it grows, it's happy, and it needs to be put in a new pot, I, the royal we, to keep the plant happy, I use different types of soil. So you've got your standard soil. This is just soil. And if I put a fussy plant in just that, it would stay really wet and the roots would die because it would be too moist. So I add in some orchid bark with that soil, and this retains moisture for plants that might need to keep it, but obviously that with just the soil isn't good enough because it would be too wet. So then I've got this perlite, it's called, and that helps the plant drain the water out really quickly, and then the orchid bark retains a little bit of moisture and the normal soil has the nutrients. So together those things create a really healthy environment for the plant to grow. You're not suddenly being transported into a garden show, but my point is to keep your soil soft, to keep your soil healthy, it needs to be cultivated and it needs to be intentional. And if you've listened to the preach from today, whenever you're watching this, it was Sunday, Angela was talking about cultivating that soil and about how Elijah wanted to run away because he was scared. And God said to Elijah, Let me just find it. Go back the way you came. And I think I have been in that situation where all I've wanted to do is go somewhere else, maybe not a cave, maybe a certain place, which if you know me, you know where that would be. It's easy to set up a place in your mind. Elijah wanted to be in a cave. I wanted to be somewhere else. And for God to say, go back the way you came, is really difficult. But when you're obedient, that produces fruit. And that's part of being intentional about cultivating your soil. So I hope that encourages anyone who feels like they're in a place where they're being overwhelmed by thorns, or they're on rocky ground and they're finding it hard to put down roots, or they feel like they're being tempted away from God. It is possible to cultivate your soil, and for God to bring you through, really. Just think about the plant illustration. You can buy yourself a plant, maybe have a little go. So that's it from me.